Mr. Abdullah, thank you so much for giving us this time and to speak to us about the current situation, which is obviously not an easy one to navigate. And I wanted to start out with getting your general thoughts and your insights of how family businesses in our region have mainly been impacted by this COVID-19 pandemic.
We are going through a period of unprecedented era. I don't think the globe have seen anything similar to that. Even in the world wars, it was, I think, geographically somehow constrained. But when we see what we're going through now, it's like the whole globe is united against one enemy, unseen enemy. Okay, so do you hear about wars now? We don't hear about wars.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody hear about wars. It's just one enemy against humanity, against we as a people. So I think that is the effect will touch everybody.
Yes.
Either in the Gulf region or in other parts of the globe. Either it's a family or a corporate or a government. So everybody being affected by this attack. And unfortunately, have you seen the epidemic invasion in any of the risk maps of any company?
Yes.
Nobody have ever mentioned it.
Yes.
Because nobody thought about that.
That this would happen. Yeah.
Exactly. So even the risk map, we don't see it there in the chart because nobody have ever felt about it or thought about it that there will be attack by unseen enemy, and we have to be well prepared for that. So family business, non-family business, everybody been for sure affected and hurt. For how long he can survive, that all depends on the business, type of business, size of the business, which part of the globe you are in, subsidies you get from the government or others, how internally you are prepared in the matter of the cash flow and other cost elements, and for how long you can continue surviving. This is like a stress test for companies.
Yes.
That they will go through.
So obviously it's as I think you've put it beautifully, in a sense that it is a completely unforeseen shock to the system. And I think that's really how it feels for a lot of companies. It came out of nowhere. It was not on the risk map at all, at least not to this extent. And so what we have seen in the past probably 8 weeks in our region is that family businesses or businesses in general have reacted with the emergency measures. So just trying to respond as quickly as possible, pivoting their operational models. So now that we are kind of adjusting to a new normal, now we are starting to look at short and medium term impact. Your group is in many different industries. Can you give us some insights in terms of how you feel different industries in the region are going to be affected by this situation?
Well, as you mentioned, it depends on the type of the business you are in. Generally, mostly been affected, except the lucky ones, not ours, but in the business domain I'm talking about, like the cleaning and medical supplies, like the delivery services, like the groceries, online businesses. Those are I think, the lucky ones, and they're doing well. Like the Nike have increased their online sales, I think 25% from the crisis. The groceries in the US almost 100% doubled in the last few weeks. Unlucky ones are the hotels, entertainment, the retails, department stores having great difficulties, restaurants who don't have the takeaway service.
Yeah.
And still, we don't know yet the snowball where it will stop.
The big problem we have is that there is no visibility on time. We don't know how long this is going to take us. And one of the things that we read is, of course, that right now there are certain industries that are benefiting from a distorted consumer behavior because suddenly people are focusing on certain things. But then there's also projections that even that behavior will, of course, change. The longer this takes, the less, for example, panic buying people will be doing because they just adjust to a new normal. So I think what will be interesting to see now is how can established businesses react to something where there is no timeline for? What measures do we take internally to prepare ourselves for this kind of unknown consequence of the situation?
Well, it is you have to be always alert, and you have to expect the unexpected, and you have to be ready to react quickly to what's happening. Like these days in the country in Saudi Arabia, we have the curfew. So you have to prepare your team. You have to get them the right transportation mean, the right permissions to go around for their business, to look after the business. You cannot stop your realistic business because it is you are supplying food, medical. You cannot stop it. So it's the challenges that you have to face all around.
Mm-hmm.
In our company, we have luckily we have business continuity policy and procedures.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it was lying in the shelf because no need for that at that time. So they got it out from the shelves, took out the dust, but they implemented it. It was good, ready to be implemented.
Excellent.
So we have corporate committee for the business continuity plan, headed by the CEO and a few of the executives, and we have the business subcommittees for business continuity also. In the corporate committee, we have 4 major elements we have to look after. First element, which is handled by subgroup, to make sure that businesses are running smooth with less hurdles. Second is about HR, about the safety and security of people, about their mobility and making sure that they have the right permits, and making sure that the accommodations are well equipped with the safety measures. Mm-hmm. Third is about IT, to enable the new move toward Zoom, Teams. Make sure that all people from homes are there to support the business and available. The fourth team is about the finance. Make sure that enough cash flow is there. Mm-hmm. The business is going well. The cost measures, cost efficiency and rationalization measures are in place because cash is quite crucial these days, and you have to make sure that you have made enough reservations and conservation of cash to keep you alive as much as you can, because nobody knows where to end up. Where the scientists and the medical doctors, they say that the plateauing now period, and luckily start going down some parts of the world, because these invasions of viruses, it has a peak, it has a plateauing, and they have decline. I'm not an expert, but we are getting now the most respected people are the doctors, and when somebody talks, everybody just watch what he's saying, waiting for good news to come. I have to salute also the White Army, the doctors and the medical staff and teams all around the world. They're really doing a super job, and they're calling them the White Army. And they are the White Army. They are sacrificing their lives, their times, their health for us. So we have to salute them.
Absolutely.
And hats up.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Your description of the reality that we are facing is very, very accurate, in the sense that we have to continue planning for business continuity. We have to start pushing for, probably we have to prepare for a long-term effect, however that effect is going to look like. And I think as business owners, a lot of people that I have spoken to are very, very concerned with regards to not just their own profitability of the company, but especially about the impact, the overall impact, the long-term impact, because you might weather a crisis for a short period if you know that you can go back to a normal state at some point.
Luckily, the Saudi government is very wise and very supportive to the people, either individuals or corporates, and having a good pulse of what affects the business and the people at this moment. Mm-hmm. A lot of plans initiated to support the private sector, as well as the individuals. Support, subsidies, deferred payments, free interest loans with the long payment schemes, So we are lucky we have government like our government, where they are really standing behind and supporting. We receive calls from different ministries, and sometimes related at night. We are sleeping and they are working.
Wow.
We receive calls and WhatsApps messages. What kind of challenges you have? How we can support you? How we can help you? How we can at 1:30, 2 in the morning, and they want answers within 1 hour or so.
Wow.
Because they have to report it next day morning, not next day, same day morning to their higher.
Yeah.
So again, those veterans are doing a great job for us. I'm sure other governments, maybe they have some kind of programs to support their people. But in our country, we are lucky to have this government, really.
No, and I fully agree with you. I think the outcome on the private sector will depend both on the capacity of the private sector itself, but also, of course, of the regulatory and the governing environment. I mean, it's a collaboration in the end.
Absolutely, absolutely.